the heart of a sun-drenched afternoon in a small town diner called Sunny Side Up, where the aroma of fresh coffee mingled with the sizzle of bacon on the griddle. Thinkable act shattered the ordinary hum of chatter and clinking silverware. An 81-year-old veteran named Harold Jenkins, his frail frame bent slightly from years of carrying invisible burdens, had just risen from his booth to refill his mug when a burly thug named Rocco Vance, fueled by a mix of impatience and misplaced rage, shoved past him. As Harold stumbled and accidentally knocked over Rocco's soda, the younger man spun around with fury in his eyes, his fist connecting with Harold's weathered cheek in a sharp, resounding slap that echoed through the room like a thunderclap. Gasps rippled across the diner as Harold crumpled back into his seat, his hand trembling as it touched the reddening mark, his eyes wide with a pain that went far beyond the physical, the sting of humiliation in a place that had always felt like a second home. If you believe in the power of kindness and the beauty of second chances, hit that like button, drop a comment below sharing your thoughts, share this video with someone who needs a reminder of humanity's strength, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories for more tales that ignite the soul. Harold Jenkins had seen his share of battles, just on the distant shores of Vietnam, where he'd served as a young Marine, dodging bullets and losing friends in the muddy trenches, in the quieter wars of everyday life back home. Now at 81, his days were a monotonous blend of solitude and reflection. His wife, Clara, had passed 5 years earlier from a lingering illness, leaving him in their modest house on Elm Street, surrounded by faded photographs and the ghosts of laughter. His body, strong and unyielding, now betrayed him with arthritis that made simple tasks like buttoning his shirt a Herculean effort, and his pension barely covered the bills, forcing him to stretch every dollar at the diner where he'd come for decades for a cheap meal and a fleeting sense of community. The slap from Rocco wasn't just an assault, reopened old wounds of vulnerability, reminding Harold of the times he'd felt invisible, dismissed by a society that revered youth and forgot its heroes. As he sat there, head bowed, the diner fell into an uneasy silence. The waitress, a kind woman named Martha with flour-dusted apron, froze behind the counter, her eyes darting nervously. Other patrons averted their gazes, too intimidated by Rocco's tattooed arms and snarling demeanor to intervene. Rocco, a local troublemaker known for his short fuse and history of bar fights, loomed over Harold, muttering threats about respect and clumsiness, his presence casting a shadow that seemed to dim the sunlight streaming through the checkered curtains. The tension thickened like the humid air outside. Cars zipped by on the main road under a clear blue sky, oblivious to the drama unfolding within. Harold's mind raced back to his war days. He'd faced down enemies with nothing but grit and a rifle, but now in this civilian battlefield, he felt utterly defeated, his spirit crumbling under the weight of isolation. Been estranged from his only son, Marcus, for over a decade. Marcus, who had rebelled in his youth, falling in with rough crowds after Clara's death, blaming Harold for not being there enough during the family's struggles. Marcus had joined the Hells Angels, finding brotherhood in the roar of motorcycles and the code of loyalty among outcasts, a far cry from the disciplined life Harold had tried to instill. Hadn't seen him since a heated argument years ago, when words like failure and abandonment had severed their bond. As Rocco continued his tirade, demanding an apology that Harold refused to give, his pride as a veteran holding firm despite the fear knotting his stomach, the door to the diner swung open with a jingle of bells, letting in a burst of warm daylight. In walked Marcus, his leather jacket emblazoned with the Hells Angels insignia, flanked by a group of his biker brothers, their boots thudding heavily on the linoleum floor. They had been riding through town on a charity run for veterans, a cause Marcus had quietly championed in recent years as a way to atone for his past, when a text from Martha, who knew of their connection, alerted him to the trouble. The room seemed to hold its breath as Marcus's eyes locked onto his father, the slap's aftermath evident in Harold's swollen cheek and downcast posture. A wave of emotions crashed over Marcus, regret for the lost years, anger at the thug who dared touch his old man, and a fierce protectiveness that had always simmered beneath his tough exterior. Without a word, the Hells Angels formed a semicircle behind him, their imposing figures a silent wall of solidarity, the sunlight glinting off their chrome badges and chains. Rocco's bravado faltered. He stepped back, his face paling as he realized he was outnumbered by men who lived by a code of honor that didn't tolerate bullying the weak. Marcus approached Harold slowly, his hardened features softening with a vulnerability he hadn't shown in years. Kneeling beside the booth as memories flooded back of childhood fishing trips, Clara's homemade pies, and the letters Harold had sent from overseas. The confrontation diffused not with fists, but with presence. Rocco muttered an excuse and slunk out the door, the biker's stares following him like daggers. In that moment, father and son shared a silent reconciliation, Harold's hand reaching out to grip Marcus's shoulder, tears welling in both their eyes as the diner erupted in relieved applause. The Hells Angels, often misunderstood as mere rebels, revealed their true hearts by covering Harold's tab and sharing stories of their own veteran members, turning the afternoon into an impromptu gathering of respect and healing. As the sun began its descent, casting golden hues through the windows, Harold felt a spark of renewal. His challenges no longer solitary burdens, but shared loads in the embrace of unexpected family. Marcus promised to visit more, to bridge the gap with rides on his Harley and quiet talks about the past, proving that second chances could roar in on two wheels. The incident, born of cruelty, blossomed into a testament to resilience, reminding everyone in the diner and beyond that kindness could emerge from the unlikeliest places, mending hearts one act at a time. Before we wrap this up, drop a comment below with your own story of second chances or a time when kindness turned the tide. It means the world to hear from you. If this tale of redemption and unbreakable bonds touched your heart as much as it did mine, please like, comment with your thoughts, share it far and wide, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories for more stories that remind us of the light in every soul.